As said, I am a film producer. I come from the industry. I have produced 8 films, primarily what we'd call art house films, which have won awards in Venice and Cannes, correct? We've also distributed our films to about 100 territories, so you could say this part of the business I know quite well. Prior to that, I was a software entrepreneur, as mentioned, with MCIS, Millbro's Chemical Information System. That was 2005 to 2008. And that is the safe transportation of chemicals at sea, which is installed on board hundreds of chemical tankers around the world. It's now become the standard for safety for transport of chemicals in a $2.3 trillion market. So today's question is films, series, and streaming. Can blockchain really make a difference? If you're in a rush and you're going to leave halfway through, yes, it can make a difference. How? But the big question, of course, is can it make much of a difference by itself? How are we going to use blockchain in combination with what other technology and what are the market conditions that come to play? Can we disrupt the film, series, and streaming industry for everyone involved, investors, fans, and filmmakers included? Is just blockchain sufficient to do that? That's the question I'm posing today. So, I'm in Cannes the first time. I sold my company in 2008. I was extremely lucky. We sold it 2 weeks before the financial crisis. I then went into the film industry, and I met a producer, close friend of mine now, and he said, I said, Alan, or he said, I told him my story, I'm new. He said, well, Alan, do you want to make a small fortune in film? I said, yeah. You want to know how? Yeah. Start with a big one. And it was funny at the time, but the truth is that there's never been a wider gap between the fans and the films and the filmmakers as there is today. There's just too many middlemen and too few players in the global streaming market. So, the film industry, let's take a look at it. Before streaming, of course, there was DVD and VHS. DVD sales was once the bread and butter of the film industry. It meant if your film didn't do too good in the box office, you could probably go break even by selling DVDs or VHS. Not only that, but of course the VHS and DVD market was a market unto itself. You had a lot of interesting films that came to that scene. The DVD home market, of course, has been replaced by SVOD, VOD, OTTs, and some of them are groundbreaking, like Netflix. Others are these horrendous TV apps that look like they belong to a Commodore 64. The result is that the home market is now virtually inaccessible to most people, unless you have a deal with HBO and Netflix, or have a massive marketing budget to make sure your film becomes visible in iTunes or Amazon. And today, streaming revenues are only 15% of a film's revenue, total revenue. So from 50 to 15. And in order to receive this poor selection and poor interface options, we need to spend an enormous amount of money on subscriptions. $148 is for the average American, and I think that price is quite similar in Norway. Which is why today 800,000 Americans are cable cutting every single quarter. So cable is down, DVD is on the way out. If not, I'm probably the only person. Who buys DVDs here still? Really? Only me. Okay, Blu-ray. Who buys Blu-ray? Still, no one. But streaming, on the other hand, is doing very well. It's going to double in size in both turnover and number of people in the next 5 years. And this is before White Rabbit enters the market. So there's plenty of opportunity for new platforms and solutions to come to this market. And especially because of these numbers. That's the number of Netflix titles in 2012. They're down to 4,355 in 2016. In Norway, we have less than 2,000 titles available. If we Google Almodovar, you'll find one film. And this is because Netflix's stated strategy since 2014 has been to buy 15% of the content and produce 15% of their content. In essence, Netflix today is a studio in its own right. And don't get me wrong, of course, Netflix and HBO creates a lot of good stuff that I love to watch as well. I'm sure you do as well. But is this what the fans really want? Less choice and less diversity in their selection of films and series? No, I don't think so. That's why the piracy numbers are still as high as they are today. People are looking for what they want to see. The film industry lost an estimated $20 billion in piracy in 2017. But of course, the elephant in the room is, if the pirates could pay, would they? Some say people streamed on Popcorn Time because it was free. Yet crucially, Popcorn Time changed users' expectations for choice and convenience. What people want is access. 2 studies that we have of 10,000 pirates in Finland and Australia shows that 60% of illegal streamers are willing to pay. The research also tells us they spend more money on entertainment and content than those who don't pirate. So instead of us insisting that they're pirates, let's allow them to become fans. Let's monetize 60% of $20 billion. As I see it, if an entire generation breaks the law, it's no longer a crime. It's a business opportunity. The film and series industry has 4 main challenges in digital distribution. I'm going to talk a little bit about those, and then I'm going to tell you how White Rabbit will solve them. Today, too few filmmakers make money from digital distribution. A handful of producers get a large one-off sum from Netflix or HBO at the festivals, or maybe an MG to finance the film. That's a minimum guarantee to finance it. But most will barely see a dime from the digital distribution after the film's release. And we're talking about hundreds of brilliant films each year, winning huge prizes at the festivals, costing millions of dollars, making no money to speak of. Lack of transparency and the struggle for cash flow is huge in the film industry. It takes anywhere from 6 months to several years for me to receive any revenue from one of the OTTs, if ever. And we have little data or very little idea of how many people have seen our films or what our fans' interaction with our product was like. There is a tremendous lack of choice. Ted Sandros said, we want to become HBO before HBO becomes Netflix, which is understandable since Netflix lost money for 10 years. So these subscription services are producing more and more of their own content and buying less, and the result for the fans is less choice of content. They're spread over many more subscription sites, meaning more logins, more searches to find what you're looking for. And then the 4th challenge, as we as an industry don't make a difference between a pirate and a fan. Pirates won't pay on principle, period. There's nothing you can do about it. It's a principle. Fans are those who are willing to break the law just to watch the films that we make, but are not given the option to pay and prove their loyalty. I think the last 10 years shows us that we can't control distribution, so let's control payment. Let's allow fans to watch the film anytime, anyplace, anywhere. Let's allow them to pay for any film anytime, anywhere. And let's create a viable business model for the entire film industry. So I'm going to show you a quick video now just to give you a feel for White Rabbit.
White Rabbit is shaking up streaming. How? With our awesome browser plugin, that's how. All those people we call pirates, 60% of them don't want to be pirates. They're fans, okay? They want to pay. But there's been no legitimate way for them to watch what they want, until now. White Rabbit gives the fans unlimited films and series. Download the White Rabbit plugin and stream what you want from where you want, whenever you want. Be a responsible rebel. Payment is easy, fast, and transparent thanks to blockchain technology and smart contracts. The fans, the artists, the risk takers. Everyone gets their fair share. Everyone's happy. White Rabbit. Jump in.
So we need to revolutionize the way digital distribution works without forcing users to change their habits. So what are our habits today? Today, over 240 million Europeans stream peer-to-peer, while only 20 million subscribe to Netflix. However, if we're going to monetize peer-to-peer, we need to be responsible rebels. We must take care of the film industry as well as the fans. The solution White Rabbit has is a plugin that recognizes the content you watch. It's in a plugin into your browser on whatever peer-to-peer streaming site you watch it from. Payment is then transferred from users to rights holders without forcing you to subscribe to any one site. Therefore, by separating distribution from payment, we can offer one account but infinite viewing experiences. There are 3 important ingredients in White Rabbit that come together to radically alter the industry. Blockchain, within that smart contracts, our token, and peer-to-peer streaming. Combination is important. White Rabbit has to be easy. It has to be pay and play, or play and pay, to have an unlimited choice in content. Now, it's going to be fast. The rights holders will receive their revenue immediately, cutting the cash flow gap from years to a matter of hours. That's hugely important to investors who have had to wait for many years to get their return on investment. Blockchain revenue ensures revenue transparency, so rights holders receive all the revenue they're entitled to. No more cooking the books, no more keeping data away from the content creators. Smart contracts ensure immediate payment directly and immediately to the rights holders of the film. So every single time someone streams the film, the investor, the director, the producer, the actor are receiving their payment each and every single time. And of course, there is the rabbit hole. We're asking the film industry in many respects to release its intellectual property rights. But can we maximize that? Can we do better than we're doing today by keeping our rights under the table? So White Rabbit brings their fans to the rabbit hole. That's your user library. Every time you pay for a film, you go to your user library and you have the highest quality content or version available to you there. Not only that, but you get more content. So everything that used to be on the DVD, the behind the scenes, the Q&As, the deleted scenes, the director's cut is going to be available to you in the rabbit hole. You could buy merchandise. You could do special virtual reality screenings. You can communicate with your fans. There's so many ideas out there to incentivize the fans and monetize content that we open it up to third parties to create applications in the rabbit hole for the film industry and for the fans. As we see it, the rabbit hole is the place where the film industry and the fans are going to come back together. So, our business model, 75% goes to the rights holder, 15% to White Rabbit, and 10% goes to the streaming sites. Why do we share with the streaming sites? Well, we're trying to create an innovative and legal streaming, peer-to-peer streaming industry. More competition in streaming will encourage research and user interface, search, and recommendation algorithms. Not only that, I'm pretty sure the younger generation, the 17-year-olds sitting in a garage, they're going to have the best algorithm out there. So, as we see it, White Rabbit revenue sharing can also turn up some interesting brands, because branding, of course, is very important. So today you go to Amazon and there's a whole jungle of films that you don't know how to find and you're looking for. What if there was a streaming site called Nordic Noir, and that is the site you have for your Nordic Noir films, or for Korean films, for example. And then you as a producer know where your fans are, and you as a fan knows exactly where you can find the content you're looking for. So, how do we do this? The token. Try not to read that text. Our disruption will be fan-driven. So how do we allow that, changing a film industry with peer-to-peer streaming without exposing the fans? So you, the user, you have watched a film and you've paid for it using your wallet or traditional payment. However, we do not have the rights for that film, and we do therefore not accept money for that film. What we instead do is accept money for you to buy tokens, and those tokens are the underlying utility connecting the peer-to-peer streaming and the rights holder. So the White Rabbit token is a guarantee by the user to initiate a transaction of content at the request of the rights holder. So you've watched your film, you've sent the token, we don't have the rights, it's now in an encrypted distribution pool. Until White Rabbit contacts the rights holder and says, hey, you know, people have been streaming your film the last 2 weeks and we have 100,000 tokens for you. Are you interested? Can you make a deal? Can you discuss with your distributors if they're interested to take a cut? And of course, it's always easier to start a negotiation if you got 100,000 tokens than if you have nothing. Many of these films, of course, have not sold their territories or are interested in recouping lost money from those territories due to piracy. So they enter into a smart contract, allowing the users to pay for the content that they have streamed. That action that was illegal has now become legalized, and thereafter all the transactions will be fully automated. You stream, they get paid. The smart contracts can also take into consideration windows, regions, multiple rights holders. But what happens if they reject? What if they say, no, we don't like White Rabbit? Or what if they say, sorry, I'd love to, but I can't? Well, again, you are in, and your token is in an encrypted distribution pool. What goes in is collected with all other tokens. What goes out comes from the pool, but there's no connection between the stream and the user. So that token goes right back to the user, and nobody knows what that person streamed. That person remains anonymous. That way, as we see it, is how we can change the film industry with the fan drive. So, this is where you position White Rabbit over there. More choice in films and series, more convenience to find what you're looking for and stream it from where you prefer. And by allowing users to pay rights holders directly, we can do this at a reasonable price. Our prototype, as long as the Blockchangers gets finished with this Oslo Blockchain Day, should be ready next week. Our pre-sale starts on May 7th. Our crowd sale is going to be started during Cannes on May 15th. We're going to be there holding 3 presentations and also signing deals, knock wood, and being on a few panels. The MVP will be released in the next month or so, and by the end of the year, we'll have the beta ready to go. I should also probably say that we just announced a deal with K5 International. They have films with Bruce Willis, Bill Murray, Clive Owen. They've delivered for Netflix. They delivered for Amazon. I was just in Tallinn 2 weekends ago. 250 European producers, everyone with fear in their eyes about what is, am I going to have a job next year? I'm very, very keen on seeing White Rabbit succeed. So who are we? We have a huge gender issue that we're trying to fix. But we are who we are. We have, of course, half of the team from Blockchangers, Jonas, Jon, and Robin. Adrian is here today. He's worked 7 years in cloud computing. Please go up to talk to him. On our advisory, Gregory Carson. He is a former VC. He's done about 30, 40 IPOs. He's raising the bar for our ICO. Hans Clemensen, based in Norway. He's our chairman. He is, if you want to run a company exactly the way a company should be run, following the rules, he's your guy. I recommend him. Tom Emil Olsen, he's the guy behind the logo and the brand. So, branding for us is very, very important. So that's why he's on our advisory board. Alexander Hagerup, a good friend and also a serial entrepreneur in AI and blockchain. Alexander Yarushin was CTO with me when we created MCIS. So he's been great. He's been working on the prototype that we have today. Dr. Daniel Bauer, he is a sales agent, film producer. They have about 50, 60 films. So they just recently came on board. And Michael Turpin, the godfather of ICOs and Coin Agenda founder. Partners, Wings will be doing our forecasting. Transform Group and Forklog, our PR company. Amazix, who was voted the best ICO service company in 2017, is running our social media and Telegram groups. Blockchangers, of course, and K5. So, in wrapping it up, Airbnb and Uber, they disrupted because they delivered convenience and lowered costs without massive infrastructure investments. They didn't have to reinvent the wheel. What they had to do is reinvent the concept. So I believe that any blockchain startup that aims to industry disrupt must achieve conceptual leaps, not just rely on technological improvements. Blockchain itself is not enough. Do I have 2 minutes? Yeah. All right, I'm going to show you 2 minutes of a film. I guess you could say it kind of wraps up our attitude in White Rabbit, at least the final line. The boy we're about to meet, he's been on a very long journey. He's now come home. This is the end scene of the film, so if you haven't seen the film, you should definitely see the film, but I believe everyone has. When he returns, his family situation is completely changed due to his action, and he now has the car of his dreams to take his girlfriend to go camping. But it ain't over yet, and in fact, the car he dreamt of will be of no use at all. Turn off lights.
How about a ride, mister?
Jennifer. Oh, you a sight for sore eyes. Let me look at you.
Marty, you're acting like you haven't seen me in a week.
I haven't.
You okay? Is everything all right?
Oh, yeah. Everything is great.
Marty! You've got to come back with me!
Where?
Back to the future!
Wait a minute. What are you doing, Doc?
I need fuel. Go ahead, quick, get in the car.
No, Doc. I just got here, okay? Jennifer's here. We're gonna take the new truck for a spin.
Well, bring her along. This concerns her, too.
Wait a minute, Doc. What are you talking about? What happens to us in the future? What, we become assholes or something?
No, Marty. Both you and Jennifer turn out fine. It's your kids, Marty. Something has got to be done about your kids.
Hey, Doc, we better back up. We don't have enough road to get up to 88.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
So where we're going, we don't need roads. Thank you very much.